Alright, today's video is on parallel lines and transversals. So we're going to talk about first is the parallel lines. Okay, line R is parallel to line S. Alright, so we're going to say R is parallel to S. And then we have this transversal coming through. So our transversal is kind of like the line that comes through. And we have transversal T. Alright, so when we talk about this, there's a couple of different things. We're going to relate these angles. Like we already know a few things about some of these angles, and we're going to look for relationships later. But like 1 and 4, if you look at 1 and 4, they are vertical angles, okay? So those are vertical angles, that means they're congruent. If you look at 1 and 2, they're a linear pair, so they're supplementary. And we're going to kind of compare these, like 1 and like 8, for instance. We're going to compare those coming up. All right, so here we have two parallel lines in the transversal. What we're going to kind of do, guys, is we're going to just talk about these in two different ways. We're going to name the relationship two different ways. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about, are they on the same side or opposite sides? Okay, so if they're on the same side, okay, they're going to be like on the left of the transversal. Okay, so all these angles 1, 3, 5, and 7 are all on the same side, and 2, 4, 6, and 8 are all on the same side as well. They're on the same side as 2, 4, 6, and 8. All right, so then when we get here, when we get two different angles, whatever it ends up being, let's just say 1 and 7. Okay, 1 and 7. If we talk about 1 and 7, they are on the same side of the line. Okay, or same side of the transversal. So 1 and 7 are on the same side. Now, if we wanted a pair that was on the opposite side, we're going to call that alternate. Okay, alternate. Then we're not going to go for 1 and 7. We would go for 1 and 8. Okay, so 1 and 8 is going to be on alternate sides of the transversal. Okay, so that's our first name. When they give us a pair of angles, we need to say, are they on the same side of the transversal or alternate sides? All right, then we're going to talk about, are they inside or are they outside? Okay, if you look over here at the yellow, okay, those 3, 4, 5, and 6 are inside of the parallel lines. Okay, and 1, 2, 7, and 8 are on the outside. Okay, now we're not going to use these words. Inside is going to be interior, and outside is going to be exterior. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to deal with these. All right, so we're going to look at a couple of pairs of angles. Notice here I have angles 1 and 8. The first thing I need to decide is, are they on the same side or alternate sides? So one's on the left, one's on the right. So I'm going to say this is alternate. And then are they inside, in between the parallel lines, or are they on the outside? And so these are going to be exterior. All right, you guys are going to need to be able to label all of these. Okay, now we go to 2 and 8. 2 and 8 are on the same side. They're both on the right side of the transversal, so they're going to be same side. And then we're going to say that they are on the exterior as well. Okay, so same side, exterior. Now we're going to find some relationships later, but first of all, we need to be able to label them, because the name is very important in being able to label them. And now there are some instances where it doesn't work out that easy. So if we talk about angles 1 and 5, okay, so if we look at 1 and 5, Okay, if I wanted to label these, they're both on the right, so I'm going to say they're same side. And then we have one interior and one exterior. So 5 is on the inside and 1 is on the exterior. So that means something weird happened. So here in this case, when we have same side, we have one interior, one exterior. Okay, there's a special name for it. It is called corresponding. Okay, so these are corresponding angles. Now what that means is basically what I like to think of is that they're in the same position. Let me move that out of the way. They're in the same position. So if you notice, in this group of angles, 1 is in the top left. If you look at this group of angles, 5 is in the top left. Okay, and that kind of goes for different angles too. If we wanted to talk about things that were in the bottom right, 4 is in the bottom right, 8 is in the bottom right. So these two angles are going to be corresponding. Notice how they're both on the right, so they're same side. 4 is interior and 8 is exterior.